Hello, everybody. Welcome to day 11 of getting through the holidays. Live YouTube broadcast here accompanying you for the last 11 days. And today is December 31st, New Year's Eve here in the United States. Still, I'm wishing you a happy new year if you live in Europe, Asia, Africa, Australia, and Antarctica, maybe. Anyway, welcome to our daily show for empaths and energetically sensitives, for people who are awakening to their, deeper inner senses and who are seeking for deeper meaning in things. All right, today will be a very interesting show, and what we're going to do first is reflect on today's energies, and then I'm going to give a brief, quick cryptocurrency market overview, crypto news. For those of you who've been here with me, know that I use the crypto market sort of as the entangled mirror of this transformation that our society is going through. And then we're going to greet Cindy McKee Kapp, one energy worker who wants to discuss and share with us her wisdom about abundance and how to align to, a life in truth and love and abundance, and how to overcome lack. So this will be a very interesting part here in about 15 minutes when we get Cindy on. It will be more or less a training in how to align your energy to abundant love, abundant health, and abundant wealth. All right, so let us know where you guys are from. This is like the coolest part for me, to see how we are forming almost like a grid throughout the entire or over the entire globe. This is something that most people misunderstand. Saving the world is not done by you actually doing anything. It is done by you aligning to a specific energy that is empowering and conducive and synergetic for others. Yes, Happy New Year to New Zealand, to Australia. Happy New Year to wherever you are in the US, wherever you are in Trinidad, in London. Oh my God, this is so awesome. Thank you guys for coming. And I really want to stress this today, starting with our energy update for today. I want to start with gratitude, okay, with the appreciation of where we were at in our journey. Naturally, on these last days of the year and the first days of the new year, we go into this reflection mode. We go into this place of looking back, and it isn't really so much that it is the New Year's Eve that when we need to make New Year's resolutions, but it's natural that we remember, like last New Year's Eve a little better than maybe some of the normal days, that where most of us, no matter how hard we try, find themselves in some kind of robotic mode. So it's natural that you go a little deeper maybe these days and reflect on things. Yes. Hello to Ireland. This is awesome. Thank you guys for coming here at this time of the day. It's got to be like, what, 2 or 3 a.m. for you guys. So thank you. Yes. And so starting out with gratitude and appreciation, I want to do a shout out at my family. They have been so patient with me, and I'm sure they're super glad if we're done with the getting through the holiday series, because they've been seeing me, running around with a like a chicken with a head cut off right before the show, which is our dinner time. I'm sure they'll appreciate, having a bit more peaceful dinner times here in a couple of days. So thank you, family, Jeff and the kids, for being so patient with me. And yes, they crack up laughing every night because, I'm like all, dressed up here on top, but still wearing my pajama pants on the bottom. That's one of the perks of my job, working with people remotely through Skype, through phone, or remote energy. And I also want to send out my gratitude to all these trance coaches, these energy healers that work with me here at transCODES, who have been holding the field, who have been assisting with all these energy sessions that we have done in these past. I don't know, guys, this has been a lot. I mean, I'm probably like 30 sessions here within the last 3 weeks. Energy sessions, like public energy sessions, all right, and not to count the private energy sessions and all the energy coaching sessions. So thank you, guys, and especially my thank you to those of you who actually had the courage to show up here on the, this live stream and send, empowering messages. Without you, all of you, this wouldn't be possible. And of course, last but not least, to you guys, for coming here, for watching the videos, for donating. Thank you so much. This is like, this is what drives all this, and these things, like just, being there, being approachable, being available in times where a lot of people feel lonely or alone. These things, they all require a lot of patience. All right, so I want to send my heartfelt gratitude to all of you who are supporting transCODES and the transCODES self-healing community. Thank you. All right. Yes, and one of the things that people have reported to me today, I've been doing energy coaching sessions all day, and we had an energy session today, and this is goes in line with what has been building here these last couple of days. There's a little bit of regret and remorse coming in, a little bit of grieving. If you feel like you want to sort of brush up on how to frame, some of that deeper process of feeling like you have to let go of something, or feeling that you've lost something, go back to day 4. I think it was when we had Shoshana here. This was a really beautiful session, where we talked about grief and the healing purpose of it, and also, some of these events that trigger grief, like maybe you went through a breakup, or maybe you went through the realization that you had to let go of a certain vision that you had, or maybe some of your ego illusions got shattered over the past couple of days. This is what people typically go through during the holidays. Why we do this, because there is this huge buildup of pressure, and then comes this almost sort of grounding nothingness, this grounding vacuum. And I don't remember when I said this, but if it was yesterday or the days before that, but there's something, when I go into this place myself, there's something in some of the Native American traditions that reminds me to go into the place of inner, I don't want to sound too esoteric, but to really remember my inner light, and to remember to fill up this vacuum that has just been created by letting go of something with positive energy. And this is not, like, you know me, I'm not the type of energy worker that says, oh, you just got to be positive and blah, blah, blah. No, it's not about that. It's about recognizing energetic dynamics. And when you let go of something, when you clear something, then there is a little bit of a pull, a little bit of a vacuum inside of you, like the old pattern that has to be replaced by something more conducive, something more empowering. And, partially this is what we're doing here, sending empowering messages in these times where people go there. But it's ultimately something that we all need to find within ourselves, within our own self-healing powers. All right. And the hardest part, as an energy healer, as an energy coach, I can tell you that this is like probably 80-90% of what people are struggling with, is to remember that power in you when you're low. It all makes sense, mentally. I mean, I'm sure you guys have studied a lot of esoteric, metaphysical, spiritual kind of teachings and writings. But what if, you go through this dark night of the soul? Where does your energy go there? Right? And this requires a lot of training. You have to literally build new muscle memory for your system. You have to rewire your nervous system. And why am I talking about the nervous system in regards to, some of the spiritual journey that we are on? Simply because it's naive to picture your spiritual journey as disconnected or detached from your physical journey. These things, like these coping patterns, cop-out patterns, as I started calling them, or like some of the things the compromises that you agree to, things that actually are not conducive for you, the things that you expose yourself to on a daily level that actually lower your vibratory rate. These things, they're not out there and don't belong to you. They are part of your journey. So you have to learn how to bring this into connection with another. This is what I talked about here on, I think it was day 9, physical integration. To bring these things together, you cannot separate your physical from it. And once you understand how your signal processing and how your emotions and how your thoughts, how they are actually related to your nervous system, then you understand why bringing in some of these rather mundane physical things, why they have to be regarded and why they have to be part of your journey. It is your limitation after all. So if you want to come up with a new habit, with a new, more conducive pattern, you're going to have to give yourself some time to rewire yourself. And that has to happen in a conscious way. And we're going to talk about this here with Cindy in a little bit. I'm just bringing this up here because this is something that I've talked about today over and over again. It's like, okay, first of all, accept that your journey is a journey that is not sort of linear, once you've mastered one level, then you go to the next level and that's it. You don't ever have to go back to the lower levels. No, it's not like that. And my recommendation is don't judge your past experience as lower levels altogether. Don't judge anything. Your journey is like a spiral, all right? And it is not about arriving anywhere. It's about staying on there. It's about holding that space. And yesterday we talked about fear and how you can perceive your life as a struggle. This is partially because of the expectations that you bring in and this goal orientation. The third chakra, I wanna. You can get pretty far with I wanna in this life, but it's not going to get you to your higher vibratory goals. The things that are coming from your higher self, from your inner guidance, those are goals or resonances that you want to be at, like say joy and happiness, fulfillment, true love, abundant health, abundant wealth. These are things that you cannot will. You cannot make this with your third chakra. That's why affirmations and all these mental tools and even, the disfiguration and misunderstanding of the laws of attraction are not going to get you there. It's setting you up for failure, guys. So don't think that if you just believe in it strong enough, then it's going to happen. It's not going to go that way. You're going to have to do some changes. This is work, all right? But not the kind of work that you think, not the muscling through it. It is allowing your inner guidance and that inner, trust and space and nurturing, these more feminine parts of your energy, allowing those to come in and conjoining and going into to go into mutual exchange with that willpower aspect of you. Yes, of course, there's a lot of energy, a lot of raw life force in your third chakra. It's already a bit more refined, than the rawness of your first and second chakra. And you can feel this because whenever you go into your first and second chakra stuff, it's your inner child, it's your shadow, it's your desire, your greed and all that. So when you get into your third chakra, you still have the desire and the greed there, but there's also like a specialness and a superiority and a pride involved with that. And for most of us, accepting things the way they truly are, it's about letting go of that pride. And for some of us, even, letting go of our spiritual superiority. And trust me, it takes one to recognize one. So I've been there, and this is something that doesn't have to be humiliating. If you understand the power in, taking down your own pride and your own ego illusions, as I called it here, a couple minutes ago. Namely, well, I'm gonna be this, I'm gonna be this, all these labels, all these things that you're trying to give form, they are really all just attempts to control the outcome. Where you want to go, those higher vibratory places, this new paradigm of living as an awakened, conscious co-creator of your reality, you're not going to get there that way. So it's not done with sending out these messages, if you just stay positive. No, of course there's truth to it. So if we align to the negative, the outcome is pretty much 100% pre-programmed. So yes, there's an aspect of that has to do with, what we align ourselves to. But the approach is not done with how we've gotten here. We've gotten here through, our unconscious prompting, through our willpower, and some of us actually arrived here through our pride. When I first got in contact with energy work, like about 15, 20 years ago, I thought, yeah, my ego loved it because that's another way to control. That's even better. If I can work out all these secrets that other people cannot see, that makes me even more powerful. Sure. Ask me how that went for me. So my personal journey was a journey of a lot of humbleness, And yes, I can see you laughing because, we all recognize this place at some point. But see where we want to go, these places of true love and relationships that matter, and jobs, that are fulfilling and service that we can give to the community or humanity in whatever way that, reflect our soul's purpose here. Those things cannot be determined or cannot even be thought of by your ego. You have to be willing to step into the unknown. You have to be willing to step where your ego cannot go. And that's where most of us, struggle. It's the courage. So most of the sessions that I had today, reflecting on the energies of today, had to do with courage. The courage to step out of our comfort zone. And yesterday we talked about this, was a cool talk about, how to overcome fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Thank you, Cheryl, again. So today we're going to be reflecting on these You know, what does alignment mean? You know, what does abundance mean? You know, what can we do differently? And I'm actually going to come up with a full-on, you know, 12-step, you know, a reframing of how to manifest a life in truth and love. And I'm gonna discuss this together with Cindy. All right. So before we get there, you know, just to hold or to summarize the energies of the day, gratitude and appreciation for where you are at is very important. Even if this year was tough for you, yes, it was tough, but it was only tough if we still resisted. You know, these new energies that are coming in that are allowing us to actually finally step out into, you know, a different level, a different dimension of self-expression. So it's actually a positive thing. The only problem with that is that we're going to have to let go of our ego and the illusions that come with it, okay? And that's a tough one. I know that. So don't feel like you're alone with this. And if you're feeling like you're going through a little bit of a death of your own ego right now, welcome to the club, okay? That's your first credential on this journey. Yes, and Denise is commenting here. It's really been inspiring and uplifting in this shift and in this, you know, and coming out of the dark night of the soul. I experienced this all year, including some days of this holiday. Yes. You know, and it is not about avoiding these things. It's about learning how to better deal with them and learning how to get out of them quicker. And if you're really, really good, you know, this is what energy healers can do is, you know, you can learn to identify, to recognize, and learn the tools how to prevent these things from latching on in the first place. All right. So your daily exposure is really just sort of the temptation that your ego is in, you know, to go back into its old coping mechanism. Yes. And Julianne is commenting, realizing everything is about alignment, especially after the session that we had today. Yes, Julianne, you were in the session. Yes, and especially when you have a bad day, you know, this again, remembrance, you know, it's not done with understanding these things mentally. You have to train yourself to go there when you're low. You know, it's easy to spread the message of joy and love, you know, when you're in that place. But what about those days when you feel like shit? What about those days when you can't feel your body and when you can't feel self-love and when everything, you know, around you is hostile and when you judge everything and when your critical inner voice is tormenting you? Those are the moments I'm talking about. And that plays a big part in manifestation. Crypto news for today, guys. Yay! I think we've gotten over the slump. You know, it's finally going back to the old momentum from a week ago. People are streaming into cryptocurrencies as expected here with the new year. So if you didn't buy yesterday, okay, because yesterday was a wonderful crypto shopping day, probably the lowest that we've, you know, seen some of these wonderful tokens in a while. Doesn't mean that they never going to go back there. You know, there will be corrections in February and probably in end of March, April as well. But as for, you know, sort of aligning yourself to abundance, this is a good opportunity today. I've just opened up a Bitcoin wallet for my daughter, who's finally agreed to go and do the cryptos. She's been wanting to do this for months. Of course, getting totally sick and tired of her mother keep on telling her that she needs to do it. I think she was mad that it wasn't her idea. But anyway, she got over her pride today, and I could see this empowering feeling, you know, that she's part of this larger movement. So if you have been struggling or thinking about it, today's a good day. You know, like tonight. It's 24 hours, so it doesn't really matter, you know, what day it is. But it's a good day to start. And if you have any questions, go to my website. Go to transcodes.com. There's a workshop recording It's long, but it also gives you a really good overview over the market. And if you need assistance, then please email me. There's a second workshop that I have recorded for our Sacred Self-Healing members that I give out on request, going into the practical parts of it, like how to open up a Bitcoin wallet and so forth. So please email me at jona@transcodes.com. And that's all I'm going to say about the cryptos today. And Cindy, I hope you're getting ready now for me to call you. I'm a bit over a time. I'm going to give Cindy a call on my Skype right now, and hope that we'll have good audio with her. Haha, there, I hear some clicks and cracks there.
Hello.
Hey, Cindy. Oh my God. Thank you so much for joining the show tonight. Cindy
Thank you.
McKee, Kapp. Where are you from, Cindy? Just for the audience.
I'm from Washington State. It's a little bit chilly here right now.
I heard.
I just to say hello to everybody and Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year to you too, Cindy. You know, I just realized that I think I forgot with all my previous guests to ask them where they're from. Oh my. Well, anyway, you're here now, and you know, I invited you to be part of this show because you have a very powerful message, and just like with Cheryl yesterday, your message is very much tied to your own journey. Do you want to share with us just a little bit, sort of the, you know, sort of the technical data, you know, of some of the things in your life that have brought you here to this place, you know, of even wanting to talk about abundance and wanting and even wanting to expose yourself in this way? How, you know, give us a little bit of an idea of your journey, if you want to.
Wow, that is who is ready to do some abundance? I'm telling you, I am ready to do some abundance. This year, I'm feeling the energies coming in are really, really strong for new opportunities, new things, really exciting cryptocurrencies. Okay. I'm not any financial expert on the cryptocurrencies, but I feel, I'm very kinesthetic, so I feel energies very strongly. And this is a huge, expansive feeling. And it's really exciting to be a part of that. I got my wallet, oh gosh, I don't know, about a month ago or so. And me personally, I'm not financially wealthy. I started with just $25 put in there, easy to do, and you know, I'm feeling aligned to that energy, and that's what feels good. It's not even about the money part; it's about the expansion and the excitement. And yes, there's ups and downs, but very expansive. It'll be really fun to see where that goes.
And really also overcoming the fear, right? I mean, or just moving out of that comfort zone. I mean, I don't know why we think that it's such a big move, but it is. You know, it's really only takes 10 minutes. But then, you know, it does something to our energy. What did this do to your energy, Cindy? Apart from feeling this ahead of time, you know, that this is, you know, you used your discernment and you really felt these energies as well. But
yeah, and I had listened to you, you know, over the last year, and I didn't even know what you were talking about. Cryptocurrencies, and you know, I kind of knew what Bitcoin was, but I didn't know exactly, you know, what that entailed. And I actually did do a little bit of research. And you're talking to somebody here that is not very tech savvy. My smartphone is much smarter than I am. And,
well, at least it's not a flip phone anymore.
Yeah. But there was something that resonated very deeply with me, and I understood things that I didn't even understand how I understood them. It was on a much more non-linear level, but it was more the expansive feeling that I got, you know, when I was researching, and it felt right. It felt good. It felt expansive, empowering.
You know, I want to pick up on that real quick. I want to pick up on that feeling that you just described, because I think that's an important piece to understand in our manifestation process. You mentioned what I call knowingness. There was a knowingness. It didn't have anything to do with knowledge, really. There was a knowingness deep within you. And I guess this has nothing to do really with cryptos in particular. You just used that to describe your feeling there. But it is a reference feeling that you have for something that feels right to you, that feels conducive to you, right? And that knowingness, you know, leading you know to self-expression here is the hard part. That's the part that is so difficult for us to describe. And you know, when people ask us, well, why did you do this? Well, because I felt like it, because it felt right, because I just have that knowing deep down, and they look at you like, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the knowingness, even though that is the one that makes us feel so vulnerable sometimes in, you know, communicating some of these things that we feel within, is also our power, isn't it, Cindy? Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. I've actually even stopped trying to explain that to people because they don't get it. No disrespect, but you know, like family and friends just kind of don't understand like how I process information. Yes. And when I try to convey that, it just kind of goes whoop. You know, there's a woo-woo again.
Right, and so, you know, this is like actually really cool for me to witness right now. You know, you coming from a place of having, you know, felt outcasted, of having felt judged, shunned, shut up, you know, all levels of, you know, sort of, I just want to call it that way, degradation or discrimination. You know, based on exactly that, on your way of processing things, on your way of seeing the world. And here you are in public, Cindy, and saying, you know, well, they're just not getting it. But you're not saying this from a superior standpoint. You're just accepting things the way they are. Namely, that there's some form of incompatibility, right? And it just is. There's no point in trying to explain to someone what it's like to have a child, you know, who's never had a child. You cannot explain that. You know, you can refer to, you know, certain, you know, like maybe, you know, objective things, you know, yeah, you're going to be sleep deprived and all that. But it's not really hitting it, right? The way you see the world and the way you approach your journey is one that is based on a deeper inner prompting and not so much the rationale of things, right? I mean, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. Obviously, I know.
No, that's perfect because I've always had trouble with expression because of this. And if you had asked me 6 months ago to do this, I wouldn't have done it. So here I am doing it, expressing and saying, my greatest joy is learning to trust in that prompting, learning to trust in that guidance and in my true self. And I can say it and feel it, and I love it.
And I'm also sensing a lot of appreciation in there, Cindy.
There is so much gratitude.
I mean, maybe leading back to what I said in the beginning, like remembering where we came from, like looking back, like, wow, what a struggle that was for me. You respect. And yes, there's still things I'm working on. And yes, there's still sort of baby steps here and there, overcoming some of the impedances, you know, and part of that is also cleaning up, you know, like just, you know, sort of weeding out those things out of our lives that are not conducive anymore, you know, that were the right thing back then, but are not anymore. But, you know, like I can feel this, you know, really strong, you know, with you, Cindy, that, you know, this accomplishment, you know, what this truly means to you, to what you just said, to be here now and to express this. I don't think anybody knows that, but you can feel that. I can feel that.
I am so grateful to have this place to be able to speak my truth and be with people that are on the same path and wanting to be in the truth. And you said something, I think it was yesterday, about the new, what was it? The new is fashionable. The woo-woo is fashionable now. I'm not outcasted. We're not outcasted.
No, these times are done with. Okay, so now it's kind of like our job, you know, like as always with the pioneers and then with the early adapters, you know, to find new ways. So a lot of people send me emails and say, you know, one of the things that I like most about transCODES, or the way, you know, you and everybody else here is sort of relaying information, is that you take all the spiritual specialness out. Okay, so we're gonna have to, you know, this is my way, you know, or our way, say, you know, of taking down, you know, some of these pitfalls of spirituality in the past. All right, so we have to bring all this into the physical now, and it has to be feasible. It has to work. It has to be reproducible. You know, it doesn't, you know, we can talk about inner light and ascension all day long, you know, if that has no, you know, if this is never ever showing in our lives, you know, if, I mean, quite frankly, this is how I discern the truth level of people. I mean, if they judge other people on their journey, forget it. I don't listen a little bit, because they're not understanding one of the first, you know, paradigms of spirituality, you know, of higher vibratory living, and that is non-judgment. You know, you can't judge anybody. Everybody's on a different part of their journey, has a different timeline, you know, and therefore has the according manifestations. To judge others means that we are judging ourselves, and that's, you know, Cindy, I've been honored to witness this in your own journey, you know, and how you worked yourself out of this, and you're now at a place in your life where, you know, many of these old things, you know, these things that were holding you back, you know, not belonging, you know, feeling judged, all that, where this is like all falling off you. Now, let me ask you something. Are you grieving about that?
You know, I think there's a little part of me that grieves the time lost.
Okay.
But I think that's about it. I'm in such a place of gratitude and joy, and these things I don't know if I've ever felt in my life, to be honest with you. But yeah, it's been quite a journey. I think a lot of us energetically sensitive people too compartmentalize their lives and you know, live in certain areas. Mm-hmm. And coming and doing what we do here at transCODES, it's really brought all of that together. That's allowed me to move forward in the way that I have, and, you know, shifting my energy and, you know, just being excited about life now and life changes, and it's just really exciting, and I'm really grateful.
So this is a powerful message, Cindy. You are in a place where you have the courage, where you feel empowered to make changes, and you're excited. Yes, you are going through occasional, you know, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, right? Like
my favorite attachments.
Yes. But, the excitement and the empowerment, through understanding, how you can work yourself out of it, how you can, self-heal, your attachments when they show up. That's, the message here. That's the power of this message. Now, let me ask you straight up, is there a message that you have for other people out there, women maybe in particular, who have been struggling with conditions such as jobs that are draining them or relationships that are draining them? Is there a message that you have for these people out there, Cindy?
So I'll tell you just a little bit of my life in the last year. And I have been a working girl since I was 15 years old. Lived paycheck to paycheck and, never really felt abundant in any way. Relationships, finances, time. In the last year of really showing up for my life and making a stance for myself, I've been able to shift my energy. I have decided to go back to school. I start school day after tomorrow. Really exciting.
Nice.
Just to disrupt the 25-year pattern that I have been in, just the 9 to 5 for 25 years. That has not nurtured me, my journey. Yes, it's paid the bills, but it's exactly what you're talking about. Putting yourself in the conditions, in the right conditions, to live in abundance. That means having a job that you love, having a relationship that you love. I just left a 30-year relationship,
Wow.
Not because I necessarily didn't care about, the man I was with. It just wasn't conducive and in the right conditions for me to expand.
That's a big
Does
step.
that make sense?
Yes, I mean this is this is huge, and also the message that is in that. This is not because you hate your life or because you don't love, whom you used to love. This is about, making a step forward into your life, into what you truly want and what is conducive for you, what empowers you. That's a super powerful message to me. Thank you.
Super, super exciting. Very exciting time.
You said something about exposure, and I want to pick up on that. Because this is something that has been coming up here within transCODES, coaching and doing sessions a lot, and that is the allocation of our resources, creating the right conditions. And creating the right conditions, I mean, you just made examples, and you're doing it all at once, which is, go for it. You've worked hard for being, in this place now, to really have that courage to do this. And I have no doubt, that you're going to excel, in these things. But let's go a step back here real quick and help people to maybe discern or allocate some of their conditions a little more clearly. So when we talk about the allocation of resources from an energetic standpoint, what we are talking about is like really sort of going into this place of honest self-reflection, right? I mean, where does my energy go?
Yes.
Right? I mean, like on a 24-hour schedule, where does my energy go? Right? And how was that for you, Cindy? What was your, sort of preliminary analysis of where your energy goes on a typical day? Do you remember when you did something like that, like sort of going through what you actually tie up your energies with all day long?
Well, I kind of went through the gamut of up and down and sideways, backwards. But what it really came down to, and what I really could make a really strong connection, is just the simple, and you guys taught this really well, is it expansive or contractive for my energy? And the more I've gone along the journey, the more I can't sweep a lot of this stuff under the rug anymore. So if something's not conducive for my energy, I feel it immediately. Right. If it's expansive, I feel that immediately as well. And I trust in that, and I follow that guidance, and I know that it, will take me to wherever it is that I need to go. My true self will sort out the details for me.
Nice. So you're basically referring to, maybe what you could call like your heart's navigator, like yes. That part in you that has that. It has the GPS coordinates. You don't know them. You don't care, as long as you, just simply follow the signs, which are, does this really make you go forward with this, or does this, pull you backwards, right? Because that's what a contractive and expansive really is. Now, when you did this gamut, as you called it, could you make an example for us, just like sort of on a practical, really practical level? Like what did you find out about where your energy goes throughout a typical day, like with work and relationship, and like as far as like which energies you identified as conducive and which energies you identified as not so conducive?
So just on a general day, I would wake up in the morning feeling pretty good, get ready for work. The house is quiet. Then I would get in my car. That would be an hour commute, and it started going downhill from there. So I would, always listen to either a meditation or some, really nice music that, kept my vibration higher. But then, I'd get to work, and I work in a natural grocery store. So I'm around a lot of different energies throughout the day. And just from trying to hold up my own energy and either ward off, outer energies, or, project, a false self projection, to
just to make fulfill your role,
happy and make my bosses happy.
Yeah.
And that's just if nothing is going wrong during the day. If something goes sideways, say at work or whatever, my drive home is angry. My drive home is people cutting me off. And by the time I get home, I'm angry and I don't want to talk to my husband. Just things like that. That would be like a normal,
I think we can
not a normal day, but kind of a normal day.
I think we can all relate to this, though, because, this is what most of us do. We make some compromises, in order to be able to pay the bills or in order to keep up some kind of status quo, and don't realize how, some of that time that we allocate and our energy that we allocate to doing these things ends up eating all that energy that we could use for manifestation, that we could use for, creating new circumstances. You've manifested going back to college out of nothing, Cindy. This needs to be said. I get all these emails and they say, well, it's easy for you to talk about, cryptos and blah, 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 but I live off Social Security. Guess what? You're talking to single moms, with no Social Security, with nothing. Okay. And this didn't come because we were handed a silver spoon.
Yeah.
This didn't come to you, Cindy, because you deserve it. No, this came to you, and I remember the day when you told me that you think you want to go back to college because that's something you felt like you missed out on. And
Yep.
you can feel how that's eating up some of your energy, some of your self-worth, and yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly what I said to you, but I said, you know what? It's not about the degrees or anything, and I know that this is not your motivation to go there, but it is something that you feel like you missed out on, and it keeps your energy low. And if you can identify those things, then it's important to follow your inner guidance. And oftentimes, it's just to really get it out of the system, to
Yeah.
eliminate that, and more so for many people, it opens up a whole new way of seeing themselves. Even though it's still sort of linked in with, like, say, collective energies, because quite frankly, I mean, we don't really need that form of schooling anymore, really, because we can retrieve information nowadays, which wasn't possible in the old days. But it's about tying all loose ends, and taking care of unfinished business. That's the power that we have, and if we don't face that, like you said, sweeping it under the carpet, sweeping it under the rug, then it becomes one of these things that constantly keep us low. They keep us low without us noticing. So it's a form of liberation, for you, not just you personally, Cindy, but anyone who decides to take care of unfinished business. That's liberation. So that's a really good motivation. Another thing that I really liked, when you said you've the commuting times, even though they were really challenging for you, and you end up being drained anyway. But as far as, like, creating the right conditions and allocating our energies, listening to uplifting things such as meditation, spoken meditations, or workshop recordings, or stuff like that, or even education while you're driving. This is very, very smart and energetically conducive, because what it allows you to do is to detach from, the negativity and the collective energies around you, especially in traffic, especially after, a whole day's work. That's when a lot of people are very agitated, so that's really smart. Yeah,
that was my favorite time to listen to meditations. That was my me time, was my time in the car.
I can relate to that, and I to this day love road trips, because guess what I'm doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. But Sydney, just before we get into, like, step 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? Because I really want to go through that, and I want to hear your comments on each of these steps. But when you did this this type of balancing, or balance inventory taking,
Mm-hmm.
what did you find out? How much, like, sort of, I mean, this is just sort of guesstimated, but percentage wise, how much time of the day did you actually spend or invested your energy into contractive, non-conducive things for you, and how much time did you actually spend in things that are uplifting, empowering, and conducive activities? Do you have a feeling for that, roughly?
I'd like to say 80-20, non-conducive, just surviving my life, but it was probably closer to 90-10. Yeah. The one thing that I was firm on and I showed up for was this beautiful, wonderful transCODES community. Well, that was my love. That was for me.
And what it did for you is basically just carry you through, right?
It carried me beyond anything I could possibly make up.
But thank you for being so honest about this, and I'll chime into this. I've been at places in my life similar like you, And I've done changes just as big as you, and coming from the same place, realizing that 80% or even more of my energy is going in either warding off or enabling non-conducive things, activities, surroundings, people, jobs, places in my life. And if you can be that honest to you, to yourself today, on the last day, or, last day of 2017 or the first day of 2018, depending on where you live, that's when, you can make the first step in change. But realizing things the way they are does not have to be this like sort of dramatic type of, no, it is not the dramas, it is not the health challenges or the breakups. No, I mean, of course, for most people, those are sort of expediters, for their spiritual journey, because the crisis usually also provides a good condition for an emergence, for spiritual emergence. But you don't have to wait that long. You don't have to wait for the drama. You can also just see things the way they are and feel into your heart's guidance what it is that you need to do to change that kind of ratio between how much energy you are spending or how much you are enabling, things that are actually bad for you or your environment. Yeah, so just speaking to everyone here, because that, like when it comes to making New Year's resolutions, that's important to be able to set the right priorities, because for the most part, we tend to focus on like outer things. I want to go to the gym more. I want to lose 10 pounds, Yes, the physical integration plays a role in that, but really, is that like, you think that's going to change the ratio from 90-10 to what, 10-90? Not really. Okay. But anyway,
That's preaching. What I'm looking forward to this year. We're going the opposite direction.
Yes. So yeah, I was just going to say, I'm preaching to the choir, right, Cindy? You've already done this. You're already there. So Cindy, let's talk about some structure. Okay. So we talked about like this being a bit by bit process, and yes, all our journeys are different, and we all find ourselves at a different place of our journey with this. But I would love to break this down a bit. And there's an article that I've written, and I've reposted this article today. It's called Understanding the Deeper Truth About the Law of Attraction, 12 Suggestions for Manifesting a Life in Love and Truth. And Cindy, do you have this article in front of you? I'm going to post this with the edited version. But these 12 steps,
yeah, I sure do.
It's not really steps, because they don't really have an order, in which we need to go through them. But they are like good markers for you, and I'd love to go through them. Here it says, number 1, and Cindy, please comment on this, and I'll comment on it too, like how this translated into my life, right?
Okay.
Number 1, drop all things you think you need or need to have or need to get.
Expectations.
Yep. And here I'm making a few examples, to get rich fast, to have a beach body in 2 weeks, whatever, like all these things. Whatever it is that you think you need or you need to have, pay a little more time with that and reevaluate this from or through these reframed values here that we just talked about. Is this actually conducive for you? So yes, losing 10 pounds, will probably be conducive for your health, and it will also help you to feel better about yourself and to feel more confident. But is this really all? Is this when it ends? I mean, after losing 10 pounds, is your life going to be different? Maybe not, So it's not really the priority. It is something that you want as well, and that is part of it, or has to be part of it. But every time you think you need something, that's when your energy goes a little bit too far onto the constrictive side. All right. Number 2, shift your focus to your inner connection. Okay, what do you have to say about this?
Inner communication and interconnection. Make sure that they are congruent. Make sure that you are listening to the guidance. Sometimes I get in more to the wantingness and not listening to the higher guidance. And that usually ends up just putting me right back down into the red zone.
Right, and also like things like comparing with others,
yes.
what they have, or where their journey is at, and why am I not there, and then also like everything that's externalized, shift your focus to like, is this really true to me? Is this really, what do I need? What do I truly need? What makes me feel safe? What makes me feel loved? Those things, those answers can only be found within.
Yes.
Number 3, have the willingness to step out of your comfort zone. Yes.
I have no problem with that.
Well, that's the energy of today, really. I mean, every, part of this day was about stepping, having that courage, that willingness and courage to step out of, what's familiar. Because your ego is not there to make you happy. Your ego likes what's familiar, no matter how dysfunctional your circumstances are. Remember that. Your comfort zone is most likely, I'm not saying always, but most likely an ego trap. Okay, number 4, learn how to properly manage your energy. That's something that we just talked about, with the allocation of our energy. Where does our energy go? And how much, and how long, do we actually spend in these contractor spaces? And, can we learn ways to get out of these things faster? Yes, you can. Okay, and you're not alone with this. And there are some really cool, just like, secular things about this. You can learn this. Everybody can learn this. Number 5, use resonance and not force. Cindy, how do you understand that?
That is one of the keys, because manifesting is, promoted through your solar plexus, the push, push, push. If you use the attractor field with the right alignment, hence the resonance, you'll have a much better outcome. So as long as you let go of the outcome.
Yes, and wanting to control the outcome or being fixated on the outcome, that comes from our solar plexus here. That comes from our willpower, from our force. That does not come from our power within. That comes from our force within. So we're trying to force things. Yeah. Number 6, learn how to feel and express self-love. Learn how to feel, not just self-love, feel your feelings and express self-love. How does that relate to manifestation for you, Cindy?
Just nurturing myself and expressing self-love, which as a codependent, I was always fixated on everybody else's feelings and, making sure that they felt loved, and I neglected myself. So I turned that around into, what do I truly need? How can I nurture myself today?
Self-love as a resonance. I'm not talking about egotistical or narcissistic self-love. I'm talking about self-love as a resonance. Is one of the highest resonances, higher vibratory resonances that we can align ourselves to. And it has to do with abundance. It has to do with gratitude and appreciation. It has to do with respect and with compassion. So those of you who are in a abusive relationship, in a codependent relationship, who think that you're doing a good service to somebody else, double check on that, because that's not an expression of self-love. And from all we know here at transCODES and working energies, it's an expression of control. It's just a converted form of control. I know it's tough. I'm a codependent too, but that's the truth of it. Right? Cindy?
I'm going to hang up my white robe now.
Yes. Letting go of our white shadow, just as a keyword here. Number 7, learn to transcend negativity and align your energy. We have to haste through this here a little bit. But I'll cut this short. What this means is learn that, the negativity is really expressed in lack. So, every time you hang on a second. I have very active pets around me, and they all agitated because of the fireworks that is starting here. So they're all like doing like things, scratching on the door and doing all kinds of weird stuff. So instead of aligning to, what the neighbor has, or what you have not accomplished yet, or what, where you're not good at yet, watch that, because that's lack. And the more you think about all the things that you don't have yet, the more your energy actually spends in that place. So learn to transcend your negativity. Learn to transcend lack. It's very important. And number 8, let go of the outcome and trust in your inner alignment. Cindy, you were a wonderful witness for that. Let go of the outcome. You said something very, very powerful. You said, okay, I'm probably rephrasing it or paraphrasing it, but you said something like, I don't need to know how to get there. I just trust in that inner guidance. That's really, really powerful.
And let go of the outcome.
Yep. Number 9, identify sabotage mechanisms. Woohoo, that's a tough one.
Ooh. Well, it's pretty much what you said. Your ego likes what's familiar.
And then it goes in coping, right? If things don't work according to plan, it goes into to secondary and tertiary coping, right? First, it's just the donuts, and we overeat and we feel like crap, and then we go low, and then we don't trust ourselves anymore, and we doubt everything, and
Yep.
But later, it's the more complicated, the more hidden things, Why is it always me that has to do it, and nobody's ever supporting me? That's a sabotage mechanism as well. But
I know that one.
Yep, so do I. And this is not something we can work through here, of course, in this minute. But that's something that we work through here within our sacred self-healing community. Number 10, agree to let go of your ego. Well, I guess that's pretty much everything we talked about here tonight.
Yes.
So a manifestation in truth and love requires us to agree to that. It requires us to have that courage and the willingness to let go of our ego in all shapes and forms. Not that the ego is the enemy, but it is the part in us that has gotten us here. And if you want something else than you have now, then you need to change something, because you're not going to get any different results if you just keep doing things in the same way. So the ego way can only get you so far, and then you're going to have to agree to change. Number 11, recognize abundance and beauty. That's one of my favorites. That's one of my big powers.
I love one as well.
Yeah. It has to do with appreciation, with gratitude, with really seeing this miraculous exchange of energy and understanding what synergy truly means. When energies begin to work together, that they become more than just the sum of the two parts. That's something that we have to align ourselves to. We have to be able to see this in nature, in music, in paintings, in animals, in the other person. And it's also something that helps us to get past judgment. And then last but not least, number 12, call on your higher power. For God's sakes, guys, if you go low, then call on that power, you know, and surrender to it. Say, hey, I am like, you know, I'm, you know, screwed. And I admit that my ego is not going to get me there. And so please, higher power, help me. You know, that's really all that's needed. And it reminds, you know, it can remind us, unlike the good old prayer. And yes, there's nothing wrong with a heartfelt prayer. Okay? Call on your higher power. Is there anything that you can say about this, Cindy? You know, like what happens when you actually call on your higher power?
It responds.
I know, right? It's so surprising.
It's very exciting. Once you really start having a dialogue with your inner power, it will respond. It talks to me. It sends me messages. And the biggest shift for me was, instead of looking for that outside of myself, it is inside of myself. It is in my heart space. And once I really made that connection, oh my gosh, it's inside of myself. It will in my never steer you wrong. And once
Sorry, I just messed up my... I can't get into our live recording. So anyway, I can't see you guys' questions right now. Sorry, I'm gonna have to respond to them after the video. Yes, but that's Cindy. That's a powerful word to end our live stream here today. You know, to really see that this higher power is within us, and that all these places where we try to find it, you know, outside of us, that these are like fake places. These are the fake things. These are the ego things, you know, even when it comes to higher power. You know, it doesn't matter what religion you have. You know, I'm not going against any religious belief here with that. Every religion basically says the same thing, you know, that this power is within you. So now start treating it like it. You know, and remember that you have it, you know, that it's right there. So it's okay to call on it. Why not make yourself familiar with it and work with it, you know, while you're alive and not in the moment of death. You know, people make such a big fuss out of near-death experiences and all that, and how that changed their life. Yes, because it is the moment of ultimate surrender of the ego. That's why. And you can do this now. 2018, make that the year of surrendering your ego to your higher power.
It's there for you.
Yes. Oh, awesome. Makes me cry. All right, well, let's not get all emotional now. These last steps, you know, of saying goodbye to 2017. I am glad it's over with. It was a rough year for a lot of people, with lots of learning experiences and with lots of really cool experiences too. But I'm looking forward to an even better 2018 and a whole new paradigm change that we are experiencing live, you know, here, our generation. And for this, tomorrow, January 1st, 7 p.m., our 12th episode of Getting Through the Holidays, I'm going to invite Sebastian Jarosinski, and we're going to be talking about the new future, how this can be realized, how we can live, you know, these things in the practical. We're going to illuminate, you know, aspects of self-sustained living, and self-reliability, responsibility. So tomorrow, all about, you know, how to bring, you know, these new paradigm aspects into manifestation. And for today, Cindy, I want to thank you for being my guest here and saying goodbye to 2017 energies. And I wish you and your family a wonderful transition into 2018 and so much luck. so much fun going back to college.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for sharing this time with us, and happy New Year to everybody. Happy abundant New Year.
Yes.
In all aspects.
Thank you, everybody. Smash the like button, subscribe to my channel, share these videos, please. You know, we're not monetizing these videos, so you know, you can contribute that way. Support transCODES by subscribing to our energy updates or coming to our sessions. Whatever is there, I can't even count it. It's so much. So thank you for your attention and your time. I hope to see you tomorrow, 7 p.m. in 2018. Bye-bye.